I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at theDove.us.
Hey, welcome back to Focus Today, and what a delight to have back with us our good friend Dan Celia. He's the CEO of Financial Issues Stewardship Ministries, and he's the host of Financial Issues. You can see Dan every day right here on the Dove TV at 1 o'clock, and we are honored to carry his program. He's got an incredible perspective on finances, and we are delighted to carry his program. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Perry. Thank you.
Yeah, good to see you. Well, listen, where do we go? Just quickly, before we get into some of the money stuff, what do you think so far of this election cycle? We don't have enough time to talk about what I think of this election cycle, but the same thing you probably think. I mean, it's just crazy. But, you know, I think these last few days are very, very interesting, Perry. You know, as we head into it, as we see, you know, a dynamic change in the attitude of voters, number one, as we see more and more confirmation of the corruption of one of the candidates, and we continue to see, you know, the conservatives gain some momentum, and I think that's very good for America. You know, this has to be a vote for America, Perry. This isn't a vote for a person. We've long since passed that. We're too far down a very dangerous road, and we are voting for the freedoms, the health, the strength of America. This is a vote for the country. All right. Everybody that I've talked to, Dan, but now I get to talk to you because you're the guy on top of it. Most people will say that no matter who becomes president, the first couple of quarters of a new administration financially, economically, are pretty rocky. Do you agree?
Well, I think that they're going to be rocky either way. Here's what I believe, election aside. I believe that stocks are overvalued. I think they will continue to be overvalued unless something happens Monday after this election. And there's going to have to be some give there. So what it boils down to, Perry, is the real important question, and that is, who is better to work through this potential downtick that seems almost inevitable? Who is going to lead us out of that with strength and a defined program that is going to lead back to growth? And that's the question. I mean, remember what we had as far as the leadership getting out of the last recession, which I would argue we've never come out of. I know we have from a technical perspective, but and is more of that, which is what Hillary Clinton will bring, more of that, she said that yesterday, is not going to lead us out of another potential downturn. So we have to look at, okay, it's going to be healthy for the markets. If we have this downturn, it's got to happen. We're overheated, we're overvalued, but more importantly, what is going to happen to get us out of that? Are we going to have a pro-growth, pro-corporate America, pro-free market kind of mentality? Or are we going to have more of demonizing profits, demonizing corporate America, and blaming everybody but failed government policy on the problems that we have?
Very, very well said. Have you had a chance to examine Clinton and Trump's tax plan and which one you think probably would best address what you just said?
Well, there's no doubt about it. I have had a chance to examine both of these plans very closely. And so yesterday and today, I had two of the architects of the plan for for Trump. And Steve Moore, who was one of their senior economic advisors, great guy. And the other guy was Peter Navarro, a professor at University of California, Irvine, and brilliant guys, brilliant economists. And there are some of the leadership there. I mean, there's Art Laffer and Larry Kudlow and some wonderful economists that go back even to the Reagan administration that have helped in the design of the plan. There's we are living in such a fragile economy. And I'll say this about this tax plan, that we cannot afford the current tax code and regulatory burden that we have. And we can't afford 1% of an increase in robbing any more discretionary income out of the pockets of America. This economy will not withstand it. We have got to get on a pro-growth tax-cutting plan. Steve Moore told me today on the program that if he was talking to a CEO that has 6 companies and manufacturing outlets overseas. He's moved them over the last 6 years. He asked him, if we had a 15% tax code, would you bring them back? He said in a heartbeat. Now, I talk to CEOs regularly, and I say this all the time. I have never talked to a CEO of any small, large, major corporation that wants to be outside of the U.S. Never. They never want it. They have obligations for their bottom lines. They have obligations to their stockholders and their boards. Their goal is to add value to their company. And they are forced. They are forced to do it. Can you imagine a company, let's take a large company, a 3M is a good example. Now, 3M is not a company that is on my list, but 3M, they manufacture 54,000 different products. 54,000. They work, yes, they make billions of dollars, but it's because of volume. They work on very low margins. They're working on a 2%, 2 to 3% margin. Can you imagine the tax rate going to 15%, and that alone, even adding a half of 1% to their margin? That is going to mean billions of dollars for them, billions of dollars. Those billions of dollars are going to go in to their company, to adding more products, to more research and development, to more expansion, inevitably hiring more people here in America. That's how important the tax code is to the health of the economy and the middle class.
I think few Americans don't understand high volume, low margin. They just see it as high volume and think that's high profit. But when you're talking 1 to 2.5% and then an increased tax, some of these companies are forced to be gone. They
are. That's exactly right, Perry. You're hitting the nail on the head. And they have no choice. They don't. And that was my point when I said, they don't want to leave. These guys love America. They don't want to leave this country. But, they have no choice, because a good CEO ought to be about the business of adding value to his company. That's what they want to do. And they're forced to do this. And most Americans don't understand that. They hear the liberal spin. This company's making billions of dollars. Yeah, they're manufacturing, tens of thousands of products. And yeah, they're making billions of dollars, but on a 2% or lower margin. And they can't afford to pay these taxes. And don't forget, we're not talking about state taxes either. That's another whole nother story. So they've got to make up for it somewhere. They want to stay here. And I think want to stay here more so than ever, because when I look at the tax plans of Obama and Clinton, I keep saying that, Trump and Clinton, I've got to look at their other policies that are going to impact that, like their energy policies. So when you combine a Trump energy policy with a Trump tax plan, where he is going to bring back and hopefully re-energize the coal industry, make sure that the natural gas industry is thriving, the oil industry is thriving. Now you've got, because the other biggest issue for corporations that are already overseas that maybe aren't American companies like the car manufacturers and such, that are coming to America is an uninterrupted flow of energy. That has great value to them. Listen, if you're a car manufacturer and you are looking for cheap labor, so you move a plant to Indonesia or China or Malaysia or something like that, you are dealing with a shutdown almost every night because they're shutting down their energy. They're shutting down what these plants now have to shut down. They're losing productivity that they would have if they were in a cheap energy and a uninterrupted flow of energy. So, that's going to be another huge draw for not only foreign companies coming here, but to keep American companies here.
All right, one last question, Dan. Okay. And again, I want to say our viewers and listeners, you can see Dan's program on the Dove Television Network, 1 o'clock weekday afternoons. You said earlier stocks are overvalued. So are you recommending people stay in a cash liquid position and ride this out?
I am, Perry. I think if you're not in the market, don't get in the market. If you are in the market, more than 80% of your 401k, IRA, or any other investments you have, then you need to change that. I would recommend that you err on the side of caution and get a 40 to 50% cash position. I know that sounds like a lot. As an investment guy, never in a million years did I think I would be ever recommending more than an 8% cash position, because I believe we need to be invested. But I think that would be prudent in the environment that we're in.
You're a delight, my friend. Thank you for your work and your calling and being faithful to it. Let's talk again on the other side of the big day and see how things go from there.
We'll do it. Thank you, Perry. I appreciate you and Dove TV. Thank you for partnering with us.
All right. God bless you. And again, you can see Dan weekday afternoons on financial issues right here on the Dove TV network at 1 o'clock. We'll be right back.